The newly established Six Flags Entertainment Company, consisting of the former Six Flags and Cedar Fair, have just released their plans to invest more than $1 billion over the next 2 years into their parks. This will come in the form of new rides, attractions, themed areas, dining upgrades, and technology and infrastructure improvements across their network of 42 water and theme parks in North America. The investments will total between $500 million in 2025 and $525 million in 2026. Now, in case you aren't familiar with the chain's new 2025 offerings, I'll give a brief rundown on what you can expect. I realize I never put out a video at the time of these ride announcements as I was busy traveling throughout Europe, so consider this video my way of making it up to you guys. Among the plans and developments for the 2025 season, here's your big highlights. Six Flags Great America in Gurnee, Illinois came out with Wrath of Rakshasa, a record-setting dive coaster from renowned roller coaster manufacturer Balaguer & Mabillard. This will feature a 171-foot tall drop at 96 degrees, making it the steepest of any dive coaster in the world, not to mention its collection of 5 inversions, the most of any dive coaster in the world. Carowinds in Charlotte, North Carolina will unveil 2 new family-friendly attractions as a part of a refreshed Camp Snoopy Kids area. This will come in the form of an interactive river raft ride and a family multi-launch roller coaster identical to Snoopy's Racing Railway at Canada's Wonderland, which was added in 2023. Canada's Wonderland in Vaughan, Ontario will introduce a first-of-its-kind coaster experience with Alpine Fury, the tallest, fastest, and longest launch coaster in Canada. Premier Rides will deliver a ride which blasts riders 164 feet vertically through the summit of Wonder Mountain, also featuring 9 inversions more than any other roller coaster in North America, matching the record held previously by Steel Curtain at Kennywood. Six Flags New England in Agawam, Massachusetts will debut their first new roller coaster in 8 years, a family thrill multi-launch coaster from acclaimed ride manufacturer Intamin. It will feature a straddle seating arrangement on trains resembling futuristic motorbikes, which will hit a max speed of 45 miles per hour. King's Dominion in Doswell, Virginia will finally be replacing their beloved Volcano the Blast coaster, closed in 2018, with Rapterra, a record-breaking wing coaster from aforementioned manufacturer B&M. Standing 145 feet tall and stretching 3,086 feet long, the new thrilling attraction will be the world's tallest and longest launched wing coaster. Delayed from 2024, Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey will unveil Flash Vertical Velocity, North America's first super boomerang coaster. Delivering thrills in both directions across 7 launches, this is sure to be an incredibly unique attraction when it hits the park this upcoming spring. Similarly delayed from 2024 is Six Flags Over Georgia in Austell, Georgia, opening Georgia Surfer, Intamin's first Ultra Surf roller coaster. This shuttle design will feature 2 144-foot tall spikes, numerous launches propelling riders to 60 miles per hour, and visually impressive water effects. Knott's Berry Farm in Buena Park, California will reimagine the former Montezuma's Revenge into Montezuma Temple of the Forbidden Fortress, which will have a randomized launch section, taking riders either forwards or backwards through this iconic shuttle coaster layout. This project has long been delayed, originally supposed to open in 2023 and then 2024, so hopefully we won't have to wait much longer to try it out. Finally, Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio, the world's roller coaster capital, will open Siren's Curse, the tallest and fastest tilt coaster in North America. Featuring a terrifying 90-degree drop, 2 inversions, and 13 airtime points, this is sure to deliver one hell of a ride experience. This surprise announcement came later than all of the others and was likely a band-aid to cover for Top Thrill 2, the reimagined Top Thrill Dragster, which technically opened at the beginning of Cedar Point's 2024 season, but only remained operational for a couple of days before it was forced to shut down. The park hopes to have the ride ready for the beginning of their 2025 season now, and since so few of us have had the chance to experience it, it's basically a new ride in of itself. So for those of you counting, all of this totals out to 9 new roller coasters across the chain for 2025, technically 10 if you include Top Thrill 2. But these details shouldn't have come as too much of a surprise for those who have remained in the loop of theme park news the past few months. The reason I'm here today is to discuss what has just been added onto this long list of upcoming new rides. Much earlier than what is typical, the Six Flags Entertainment Company has come out with their plans for 2026 as well. We discussed the first half of that $1 billion investment plan, so now we have insight into what the other half is looking like. But before we dive into it, I do just want to say that I don't believe the timing of these announcements were coincidentally so early. A lot of you may be familiar with the unfortunate rumors surrounding the closure of Six Flags Great Adventure's Kingda, the world's tallest and once fastest roller coaster. One of the most iconic rides in the world, Kingda played a big role in my own and many other enthusiasts' intrigue in this community and industry. I theorized on why it's shutting down in a recent vlog from the park titled Getting My Final Rides In on the World's Tallest Roller Coaster, so be sure to check that out if you haven't already. The reason I'm fixating so much on Kingda is because Six Flags gave no heads up whatsoever on the ride's removal. All there was to warn us were rumors from trusted sources in the roller coaster enthusiast community that most of the general public would never be aware of. We did what we could to get the word out so that people could experience Kingda one last time, even after so many of our viewers told us that we were spreading misinformation for views. These same people were in disbelief that Six Flags would refuse to release a statement in advance, but here we are, and the sad reality is that a big corporation like this couldn't care less about a ride that's one of the most famous and revolutionary on the planet. I don't mean to sit here and rant, but like many of you, I'm frustrated by Six Flags' lack of transparency and will miss the ride dearly, seeing as it was an all-time favorite of mine. Kingda's final day of operation took place on November 10th, 2024, and I appreciate it so much for delivering nearly 2 decades of pure joy and adrenaline. A big thank you to Great Adventure's maintenance team for their commitment to the ride after all of these years, and thank you to Intamin for their incredible ambition. Now, a few days later, on November 14th, 2024, the Six Flags Entertainment Company unveils their most prestigious capital investments planned for the 2026 operating season, with Six Flags Great Adventure at the forefront of this news. Quote, in 2025, we're thrilled to debut Flash Vertical Velocity, North America's first super boomerang coaster, and in 2026, we'll unveil an all-new, multi-record-breaking launch coaster, a must-ride attraction sure to capture fans' imaginations. To make way for this landmark addition, the park has retired the Kingda and Green Lantern coasters, with construction beginning soon. This exciting new ride underscores Six Flags' commitment to continually elevating the park experience and making every visit an unforgettable adventure for all. Although we all have a sour taste with the new surrounding Kingda and now Green Lantern as well, I can't help but be intrigued at what 2026 has in store for the park. We know very little else about this new ride, and all of the others we'll discuss, should I add, but I will try my best to crack down on what I think they could be. At first, my mind wandered to a reimagining of Kingda similar to what Cedar Point had done with Top Thrill Dragster, as that could explain the multi-record breaking part. However, fellow content creator El Toro Ryan reached out to the park for clarification, and they replied by saying they were excited to debut a completely new multi-record breaking launch coaster. While it is possible that whoever was on the other side of the screen misunderstood the question, for now, I'd say don't get your hopes up for a reimagined Kingda, especially not after the disaster that was Top Thrill 2. So if it is a ride that will be built from the ground up, who could be building it and what could it be like? Well, I had heard a while back that Cedar Fair executives rode and were impressed with Intamin's Velocicoaster at Universal Orlando, therefore making it possible that this could deliver a similar ride experience. And frankly, with how substantial of a loss Kingda is, I personally believe this is one of the very few options they could deliver that might be able to live up to the excellence of the former coaster. Other manufacturers, such as Mach Rides, Vekoma, SNS, and Premier Rides could also be selected to build this coaster, but we'll just have to wait until the summer of 2025 to learn more. As of now, I'm going to hope for, and also give the ambitious prediction that this will be an Intamin multi-launch coaster of some kind. Moving on, Six Flags Over Texas in Arlington, Texas will unleash a record-breaking dive coaster in 2026, and this one I have mixed thoughts about. On one hand, this is a great fit for the park, which has been long overdue for a new big investment like this. I'm curious about what records it could break and wonder if there's any potential for this dive machine to be the first to cross over 300 feet tall. On the other hand, it's a bit of an odd choice for this region, as Six Flags Fiesta Texas just received a dive coaster in 2022 and is just 4.5 hours away. I think they could make it work, but I would have rather seen a different model from Bolliger and Navillard. Still, nevertheless, lots to be excited about if you live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Six Flags Magic Mountain in Valencia, California will add to its expansive roller coaster lineup with the debut of a first-of-its-kind coaster for North America. We believe originally this was planned for 2025, but due to new technology being used, this was pushed back to 2026. Now, we don't have much information to work with here, as this coaster was described much more vaguely than some of the others. However, and this might be a reach, but I do recall hearing rumblings of this ride being a first-of-its-kind coaster worldwide before it was postponed, meaning if in a single year some other ride around the world offset that claim, the culprit could very well be the Transformers-themed SNS Axis coaster opening in Saudi Arabia. Plus, with this having a steampunk type of theme, judging by the teasers we've seen in the park, that would make perfect sense. Due to how Axis coasters look, it would be one of the easiest models I could think of to match that theme. It would also be a spectacular fit for Magic Mountain, seeing as it would be different from all other 20 roller coasters in the park. On a side note, I believe the park is satisfied with their coaster portfolio as long as their total remains at 20 and they have more than any other park in the world. Therefore, I wouldn't be surprised if they use this new ride as an excuse to close either Viper or Superman Escape from Krypton shortly thereafter. Six Flags Mexico in Mexico City will finally receive a long overdue coaster investment, which they describe as being a family thrill boomerang coaster. Judging by this, it's likely that we'll be looking at a Vekoma family boomerang coaster. This would be extremely similar to Kings Island's new for 2024 Snoopy's Soapbox Racers, which is a fun ride and a decent fit for Six Flags Mexico, but honestly, it wouldn't have been my first choice if true. Far from it, actually. When I visited the park a few years ago, I found that they had plenty of family coaster offerings and were severely lacking in a strong third-place coaster to back Superman El Ultimo Escape and Medusa Steel Coaster. On the contrary, it is possible, judging by Six Flags' description of the new ride, that it could also be a Vekoma Super Boomerang, like the soon-to-open Flash Vertical Velocity at Six Flags Great Adventure. This, I think, would be a much more appropriate fit for the park, also giving them a launch coaster, which is something they're severely lacking in. Other than that, all else that was announced seems to be in the form of non-coaster attractions. There's a record-breaking water ride going to Carowinds, a perfect fit for them, a record-breaking water attraction for Canada's Wonderland, a new family thrill ride for Kings Island, water park upgrades and enhancements to Not Soak City, a new kids area and other 50th anniversary celebrations for Six Flags Great America, and some minor changes for the smaller parks in the chain. All in all, it sounds like a promising next few years for the Six Flags Entertainment Company, so here's to hoping they execute on their promises, open things on time, and are more transparent going into the future. I am admittedly skeptical with how Kingda as well as Green Lantern just went down, and it seems like other expensive to maintain or unpopular rides and roller coasters could be following suit. I intend on making a follow-up video relating to that topic as well, but for now leave a comment letting me know which of the new for 2025 and new for 2026 attractions interest you the most. Also, I'd love to hear about your best memories with Kingda, as like many of you, I'll be grieving for quite some time. Be sure to leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to Coaster Dash for more content like this in the future, and with that all being said, I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.